Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lewis Speaks 2022, and today I want to talk to you all about body counts. What exactly is meant when we're talking about someone's body count? Well, when you're talking about somebody's body count, it means how many people that person has slept with and has been with sexually. And oftentimes these days, a lot of people want to know how many people you slept with for a variety of different reasons. Oftentimes, if you tell them that you slept with more than one person, it's this presumption that you are a whore. And there's a lot of slut shaming behind it. There's a lot of judgment if you have been with a certain number of partners and a certain number of people. I feel that knowing someone's body count is really not so much a reason to judge someone. You know, it's not a reason at all to judge someone. Who are we kidding? You know, none of us are saints. We all had moments in our lives when we, basically we went through our whore phase, you know, and I don't think that a person should be judged for their past or slut shamed or looked down upon. I think the idea is what was behind the numerous partners. A lot of people, they sexualize their emotions. They don't really know how to connect with other people, so they just jump into the bed with other people in order to either deal with difficult emotions or even to get the closeness that they're longing for, that intimacy. And so just knowing what's behind the body count, I think, is definitely important, because we live in a generation now where people are not getting their needs for intimacy met through friendship, love. We're experiencing right now a love drought. It's a desert out here. It's an emotional desert, and we're all seeking love in various ways. And a lot of times we seek this love in unhealthy ways. And I think we need to ask ourselves what's healthy versus what's unhealthy. I personally feel that it's unhealthy to constantly share your spirit and your body with a lot of different people. I think that it creates a lot of emotional disturbance that we really don't understand, because we are spirit beings having a human experience in this world. And constantly trading spirits or having sex with multiple partners and sharing your spirit with multiple people, that is going to create an imbalance. And it's my firm belief. And this, like I said, this is how I feel. I don't expect anyone to feel how I feel. I definitely respect everyone's right to their different opinions. But personally, me, I feel that by sharing your body with so many different bodies, that definitely does create this unseen and almost invisible disturbance. Sometimes you wake up after dealing and having sex with someone, you wake up and you feel depressed, you feel angry, you feel so many different emotions, and you wonder, why do I feel this way? You don't realize that you're picking up these sexual demons and these sexual spirits from people. Sex is something that should not be taken lightly. And I think our generation has definitely taken it lightly. I, at one point, something, took sex lightly. I thought it was just casual, just something that something engage in. But it's really not. It's something that is very special. And while I don't judge anybody, like someone could tell me their body count, it's irrelevant. What's important to me, personally, is where are you at right now? Are you healthy? Are you good? What's going on with you at present? My thing is this: if you're with me and you told me that you've been with so many different people, my question is, are you still seeing those people? Are you ready for something with me? Do you still need validation, or are you still seeking something else from having multiple partners? Because a lot of times people are seeking love. They're these emotional bottomless pits. They just can't get enough. They're insatiable. And usually what's at the bottom of that is deep trauma, is unhealed wounds. It's just a lot of unprocessed material that people have not yet dealt with. And that's what I'm concerned with. So if I'm asking about your body count, it's only because I want to know, where are you? What headspace are you in right now? Because a lot of people are still trapped in this headspace of wanting to pander to the crowd, wanting all this validation from outside sources, and they're not concentrating on the person that's in front of them. They're concentrating on just gaining this from so many different sources. You know, I think, to be honest, men have major ego problems. Because if they find out, like, say for instance, they're talking with their woman or their man, whatever have you, and you find out that your partner has had a certain number of sexual partners prior to being in a relationship or a situationship with you, oftentimes men will feel very insecure. They'll feel threatened. They'll feel uncomfortable with the idea of knowing that someone that you have been with might have had a bigger penis than they do. They don't want to compete. They feel as though, oh my goodness, she's ran through, she's stretched out, he's ran through, oh, he's community penis, she's community vagina. All these things to shame people. And what they don't realize is that they need to focus on the person where they're at mentally in the present. You know? Now, for me, if you're still out there seeking all these multiple partners, that's not going to work for me. If you want to have sex with multiple people while you're dealing with me, that's not okay with me, because for one, it's about being healthy. I personally feel like that's a gateway to a lot of different diseases, a lot of different sexually transmitted diseases. By having all this sex with multiple partners, it's not okay with me. That's not going to work. Not only that, I just feel like your attention will be divided. And it's just hard enough. It's hard enough to focus on yourself and get your needs met, let alone trying to focus on multiple partners. It's exhausting. And this is why a lot of people feel like they're just getting the short end of the stick in these relationships, because there's a lot of emotional infidelity. There's a lot of sexual infidelity. There's a lot of people wanting to be somewhere else while they're in a relationship with you. And so they're romanticizing this other place. Some people call it destination addiction, but they're romanticizing being in this other place, and they're not feeding the place that they're at. So the place that they're at is starving, begging for attention, but this person is always on some other land or some other person, you know? So that's not going to work. I think that for me, I know I need somebody who is going to be present, and having all these bodies stacked up, you know, while you're with me, not going to work. Now, you got a lot of bodies prior to me, that's none of my affair. You know, I mind the business that pays me. And quite frankly, it doesn't pay me to know how many people you've been with before, you know, or hold that against you. If we do happen to have that open conversation, I have no right to hold that against you. For one, if you are honest enough to share that with me, I have no right to hold that against you. I feel like what you did before me has no bearing on where we're going. But of course, I want to protect myself too. I think that the first date also should be to an STD clinic. You need to take the person, instead of flowers, cards, and candy. No, we need to actually go to the free clinic to get tested. Because you also, in this day and age, people have a lot of history still stored in their body. And so I need to make sure that your history doesn't affect my reality, doesn't affect my present or my future, you know? So I think that while it can be helpful to have the conversation about a person's body count, definitely it can be helpful. It should not be used as a tool to shame them, to put them down, to treat them bad, to judge them, to criticize them. I think it should be used as a conversational tool to see where their head is at in the present, to make sure that they are healthy. Because if you really care about somebody and you want to build something with them, your priority should be trying to find out if they are okay, if they are in a headspace to love you and only you, and if they still want to entertain the community. Sure, you do you. Stay protected. Live your life. I hear you. It's not my way, but like I said, everybody got their own journey. And I just say, more power to you. But it's also about knowing what I will not tolerate to keep me safe. So that way I'm a presence for someone else. And if you know that's not something that you want to deal with, be honest. But also don't hold it against people. Like when they tell you their body count. I think a lot of dudes and women too, they basically just, you tell them you've been with a certain amount of people and it's just like, it's a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker. And I think also there is definitely some sexism with that too, because if a woman has been with more than 5 partners, for some, she's a hoe. But a man, he's not a hoe. And there's definitely some sexism and some bias there and a double standard when it comes to women having multiple partners and also men having multiple partners, which is not okay. I think that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You calling a woman a hoe after she's been with 5 people, you need to also assign that same label to a man. So you got to keep it fair. You know, personally, I don't think that it's a hoe. I don't like that terminology or trying to lessen someone or make them feel bad or subordinate. No, it's about, are you healthy? Are you okay emotionally? Are you using sex as a tool to avoid dealing with some difficult emotion? Are you trying to escape through sex? And if you are, that's the issue. That's something that needs to be unpacked and explored. You know, it's not something to be shamed and shaken. No. Let's talk about that. Let's try to figure out what's going on, you know? And that's important. So when it comes to body counts, everybody's different. Everybody has their own feelings about that. I personally don't hold it against nobody. Do not hold it against them. Don't use it to shame them, because it's not okay. I definitely am interested in how you guys feel. How do you feel about body counts? How many people is too many people? You know, if there is such a thing as too many people, you know? So definitely share your comments below. And I encourage you to definitely have this conversation with your partner. You know, I think that a lot of times people don't want to open that can of worms. But if you're the type of person that feels as though opening this can of worms will unleash some kind of disaster, maybe just hold off on that, you know, that conversation. You know, just have a conversation as to why that's uncomfortable for you. Just explore that yourself, you know, like why is unpacking your body counts so problematic? And what does that bring up for you? You know, that's so interesting. Like even pretty much just the conversation about body counts intrigues me, you know, in terms of the double standard business. But definitely share your comments below. And I appreciate you watching the video. And I hope you have a wonderful 2022.